In the headlines, reaction trails cash withdrawal limits introduced by Central Bank of Nigeria. NJC reinstates Justice Ofili Ojumogobia as judge of Federal High Court. ICPC arrests, detains D'banj over diversion of N-Power funds. And on the international scene, Somalia forces and allies retake key town from Al-Shabaab. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. And now the news in detail. Point-of-sale operators are not happy with the Central Bank of Nigeria pegging cash withdrawals to 20,000 naira per day. The directive comes as the CBN prepares to effect a change of naira notes in circulation starting next week, precisely on December 15. Kabiru Lawan speaks to some operators on the development.
Point-of-sale operators also called on government to have a rethink on the policy, adding that youths in the country are predominantly using the POS as a means of livelihood.
So we now that is doing the POS is because we don't have any other thing to do. Now that we have this one to do, they want to snatch it away from us. And this bank that is giving us, maybe if I go to bank today, I will get like 400,000 or 300,000. We'll come back and sit down and manage it. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000. The money will be gathering, maybe 100, before you know it, we get up to 5,000 a day or 4,000 naira. But now, with this kind of rule now, there is no way we can get even 2,000 or 1,500. So 1,500 will not buy me food, morning food and night food.
The way they want to do their thing, let them do. Let them not change our rules. Those things they are changing will affect us youth, to affect us, and to make us change our mind. Otherwise, to get other things done. So they should just leave the olden days rule. If they want to change the currency, let them change the currency only and leave our rules. We withdraw 20,000. That is not possible now. Like me, like this, a day I run 100,000 a day. So I'll just withdraw 20 and wait for another day. That is not good now. And it will not fasten our work.
Reactions continue to trail the CBN decision to limit cash withdrawals to 20,000 naira per day for individuals. Some Abuja residents called on government to reverse the new rules, which they attribute to the new redesignation of naira notes. They further said new rule will affect the economic activities of the country.
I actually feel it's so crazy because with the limitation of withdrawal, which is just 20,000, I think it's going to affect a lot of businesses, because you can't expect someone people that own businesses, withdraw money that is not up to 100,000 or much more than that, because some people, the moment they go out with their business, the amount of money they need in their business is much more than that which we are talking about.
To me, I feel that it's very strange. People will find it difficult to cope with that. But I just hope and pray that it will give us the ultimate benefit for what the federal government of CBN wants to achieve to ensure that the economy has a seamless flow of cash instead of stocking it in people's hands. And I believe that cash transfers are also good, much advantage of cash transfer. The disappointment there sometimes is that when you walk to ATM to transfer, sometimes they will tell you no cash. And you may be needing this money urgently to do certain things. So I also hope that they also improve on the other side of it.
The CBN, and in a letter addressed to banks and other financial institutions, announced new limits on cash withdrawals over the counter and via automated teller machines ATM, point of sales POS, and also checks. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Similarly, reactions have continued to trail the central bank a new circular pegging maximum cash withdrawal per week for individuals at 100,000 naira and 500,000 naira for corporate organizations. The Apex Bank also limited individual points of sale to 20,000 naira per day. A financial analyst, Mukhtar Mohammed, said some business, including POS operators, may find it difficult to survive.
The POS terminals, people are the first to complain about it because they are the ones that really service the rural area, the non-banking that want to include financial inclusion to them. Remember that the POS terminal man is not that he's taking that cash, he has those cash in the bank, he's just linked to his POS so that he can do payments. And there's a minimum to what they can do. So I think the CBN need to look at this, especially when you are talking about financial inclusion. And again, in terms of infrastructure, how many banks have this infrastructure in the rural area? So for me, I think they need to look at that, because otherwise you may just kill a sector that is beginning to provide jobs for Nigeria.
The National Judicial Council has reinstated Justice Rita Ofili Ajumogobia as a judge of the Federal High Court. In a circular, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Jones Oho, stated that at a meeting of the National Judicial Council held on the 1st December 2022, the council reinstated the Justice Ophelia Ajumogobia as a judicial officer. Justice Ofili Ajumogobia was prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on a 15-count charge of money laundering and breach of public trust. Justice Ambrose Louis Alagua of the Federal High Court, however, discharged Ofili Ajumogobia while granting her application to quash and dismiss the allegation. Moving on to politics, residents of Osogbo, the Osun State capital, on Wednesday said the traffic diversion in major parts of the city as a result of the presidential campaign of the People's Democratic Party disrupted their daily activities. As early as 7 a.m., without any prior notice, security operatives blocked major roads connecting the Nelson Mandela Freedom Park, venue of the PDP rally, resulting in serious traffic jam in most parts of Osogbo. Some residents say the traffic jam had a negative impact on their businesses as people could barely move from one place to another.
There are better places that they can use that will contain them, that will even be easier than this. But they did not use the place. And besides, they are the one in power. There is no way where they want to use that they will not permit them. So why they chose to use the places that will inconvenience people, we don't know. And it's very bad.
Actually, it's not really nice because everybody is going to work and this is morning. It's really affecting us. Everybody, I'm late to work. I'm supposed to resume work by 9. See, the time is past 9. So it's very unfair.
Nobody will see this thing that we happy because it's not what we can bear. This thing is too much. The tension is too much. So everything that government should do it in a rightful way.
Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the chief whip of the Senate, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, has warned spokespersons of presidential candidates of the leading political parties against politics of bitterness. Kalu gave the admonition while fielding questions from journalists in his office on Wednesday. The report.
Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, who doubles as the Senate chief whip, accused spokespersons of the presidential candidates of the leading political parties of not addressing issues as regards aspirations of their principals, but rather dwelling on trivial issues that do not contribute to the much-needed political discourse that will attract voters to them.
The decision to vote lies on the voter. Our own is to do the campaign, do the marketing, but what I'm seeing is not a good marketing. What I'm seeing is backlashing. This spokesman will come and talk rubbish, another spokesman will talk another one will talk another. That is not what people's democracy look like. People's democracy is about what we can do for the people. And I want you people to carry this message very strong, because they are the marketing democratic process.
On the performance of the outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, Senator Kanu said the administration has scored high in certain areas while it equally failed in other areas, just like any other government across the globe. Leadership, according to him, is like exchange of patterns in a race where every participant is expected to play their role.
The problem we are carrying were caused by previous governments, and we will continue solving it. Like incoming government will also carry some of the problems we are going to leave. We have done very well in terms of indices. I'm just coming from Washington. There is recession all over the world. I have businesses all over the world, and I've seen what Nigeria is still not the best, but still breeding. People are closely breeding all over the world. So for me, I'm not going to say we have done very, very well, but President Buhari and his team have tried their best. Government is a baton. He runs and gives back the baton to the other.
He expressed optimism that he remains the best candidate as far as Abia North Senatorial District is concerned, saying 2023 is a done deal for him.
Hizbah Corps would be applying Islamic law to tame gender and domestic violence against women and girls, believed to be on the increase across northwestern states of Nigeria, with 1 in every woman violated on a daily basis. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
For quite some time, gender-based violence has remained a major challenge, threatening especially the safety of women and children, particularly girls. Although several provisions are being made to address the situation, but experts say widespread abuse of women and girls in northern Nigeria is becoming disturbing. The reason why violence against women and girls is rising is because of the situation the society is in. That is why sometimes it goes up and sometimes it comes down. But we in Hizbah believes that the gender-based violence is reducing at the moment.
People are accepting to talk about it, are accepting to even listen to you. Because before, people don't even want to talk to you about such things. And this is what is making things difficult. Because if a girl is molested, the parent don't want to talk about it. But now, we are getting somewhere because the parents are ready to listen to anybody that wants to help them.
In search for permanent solution, Hizbah commanders from the 6 states of the Nigeria's northwest region are here to deliberate on how to apply Islamic perspective in protecting women and girls against gender-based violence in the region.
In the Quran and in the Hadith of the Prophet, his practice, his tradition, when you come and look at his life according to what Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim reported in so many places, you find that the way the Prophet is treating his family, starting with the wives and then the children. If we can emulate him, we the Muslims today, and do it the way he did, or maybe even closer to that, there shall be no gender-based or domestic-based violence, sincerely speaking.
According to experts, the current insurgency in some states across the region is escalating violence against women, which Hizbah is expected to find a lasting solution to the protection of women and girls.
Because of the result of armed banditry and kidnappings that are happening, particularly in the northwestern part of Nigeria, the gender-based and domestic violence against women have been on the increase. It is astronomically increasing in the sense that in every 3 women, at least one had been violated.
Meanwhile, the need for government and relevant Muslim organizations to come up with a way to ensure enforcement of relevant Islamic provisions toward addressing the issue of gender-based violence may significantly bring an end to the increased violation of women and girls' rights across the northwestern part of Nigeria. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
On security, the Nigerian Air Force has continued with assaults on identified bandits' camps and enclaves around Kaduna State. The statement, signed by a Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, said feedback to the Kaduna State government revealed that a camp in Riyawa, Igabi local government area was targeted and destroyed. A terrorist location at Tofa General Area of Birnin Gwari was similarly engaged and struck. The statement said close air support was provided to ground troops conducting operations in Maidaro, Dogondawa, Damari, Saulawa, and Ferranrua areas of Birnin Gwari local government area. Aruwan said armed reconnaissance was carried out along the Kaduna-Birnin Gwari Road, Buruku, Kurmandande, Damba, Ungwanyako, Udawa, Manini, Kuriga, Gagafada, Kushaka, Polwaya, and Kamfanendoka areas, spanning Chikung and Bernangwari local government areas. No suspicious activity was observed at locations covered. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command on Tuesday rescued 3 abducted persons while on a manhunt for criminal elements in the Kubwa relocation estate off Arab Road area of the FCT. The Commissioner of Police, Babaji Sunday, through the Public Relations Officer, Josephine Ade, revealed that the rescue followed reported cases of security breaches occasioned by armed robbery, shooting and abduction of some persons in the area. CP Sunday also noted that the swift response of the command in an aggressive manhunt led to the recovery of firearms and ammunition, including 1 AK-47 rifle and 25 rounds of ammunition. 2 victims were arrested with gunshot injuries and rushed to the hospital for medical attention but died on arrival, according to the CP. Meanwhile, the CP called for calm, noting that the command has since deployed intelligence and other operational assets to fortify security in the entire Kubwa area and its environs. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Dangers associated with scrap collection in Edo. Do stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update. Here's a recap of our top stories. We told you that reactions trail cash withdrawal limit introduced by Central Bank of Nigeria. We also told you that NJC reinstates Justice Ofili Ajumogobia as judge of Federal High Court. Moving to more news. And in crime, sensational entertainer D'banj has been reportedly arrested by the police in Abuja. It was gathered that D'banj was arrested by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission for allegedly diverting hundreds of thousands of naira from the N-Power project. It was learned that the singer, who had failed to honor his summons for months, surrendered himself on Monday. He was then reportedly detained and denied bail. D'banj had reportedly connived with corrupt government officials to introduce ghost beneficiaries into the payroll of the funds, and the monies were later traced to accounts associated with the singer. But reacting, his close associate, Malam Yankee, denied his arrest. Yankee, the singer, was invited but was not arrested. Scrap dealers in Benin City, the Edo State capital, have called on relevant authorities to come to their aid over constant harassment, extortion, as well as life-threatening treatment by unscrupulous elements in parts of the state. The call came following an attack on a scrap metal collector in the early hours of Tuesday, a situation which almost cost him his life. Nafisa Bello completes the report.
Oh, as they go for streets. Then say, Aboki, come. As I come, then say, you want buy market? I say, no. I say, yes. I say, I come. As they come, then come round me. Then come they beat me. Then come carry bottle. I get money, I get 20,000 per here, I get 20,000 per here. Then carry this 20,000, as I hold this one, then say, make I give them. I say, I'm not going to give you this one. As you carry this one, just leave me. Then say, make you, I give them all. If I not give them all, they will kill me. I say, I kill me, now and then go carry the bottle and then go shoot bottle for my body.
That's Yusuf Dauda, the scrap collector on hospital bed, narrating his ordeal in the hands of the criminal elements, who almost killed him in the curse of forcefully extorting him. Speaking with newsmen, the leadership of the scrap dealers in Edo State called for government intervention, saying the harassment was one too many.
Because sometimes our boys, the complaints, would give money, go buy a market inside town. But area boys, they call and say, come buy a market. When you come hard for one side, you collect money for the boys. And sometimes, I even say the market for them, you come back say, come, it is 20 for our play. And sometimes a lot of life, nobody cheaper. So this is not what happened. What would I beg for? What beg? Make it help us now.
Lending his voice to peaceful coexistence in the state, as well as in the country, the chairman, Hausa community in Edo State, Alhaji Badamasi Saleh, promised to liaise with relevant authorities to ensure the culprits are brought to book.
So I think we have to, recommend the effort of the soldiers around that S&T barrack. Immediately they had the information, they swung to action. Before they got to the scene of the crime, those hoolons, they run and left the boy there inside blood. So also Good Samaritan too, I now have to send some of the Hausa people who are doing scrap to the destination and go there and carry the boy to hospital. And right now, I also authorize the Hausa people who are doing the scrap to make sure they go to police and report. Then further action. We will not allow such thing to continue, and we will not take it as far as we are Nigerians, and will not allow.
Officers and men of the Nigerian Army attached to the S&T barracks, Uselu, and operatives of the Edo State Security Network, who rushed the victim to the hospital, are however on the lookout for the suspects who are currently on the run. Nafisa Bello, Trust TV News, Benin.
The traditional role of media is to hold government to account, giving it the name the fourth estate of the realm. However, fourth power refers to the press and news media, both in explicit capacity of advocacy and implicit ability to frame political issues as being saddled in the Constitution. As 2023 election draws closer, Noel Sampson looks at how journalists should be mediators and not instigators. The report.
The media, they say, knows and appreciates what is at stake as the 2023 elections draws closer. Hence, reasons why media practitioners know why they have to be mediators, not instigators to any form of violence whatsoever.
The media can't be neutral because we fight for social equality, we fight for the rule of law, we fight for good governance, we preach transparency, we preach accountability. All of this shows that you're interested, but your interest is for the greater good of the people, not for a section, not for a political party, not for a candidate. You place everybody on the same platter and offer them to the people.
The media clearly, especially the Nigerian media, has been pretty exemplary over the years, right from the renaissance democracy. They've been very responsible. You would see that most times the media tends to actually downplay a lot of reports that are capable of inciting or leading to, tension and outrage by the people.
Ways in which media houses could self-regulate themselves to ensure explosive news items are diffused was also highlighted.
It is good enough that Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, Nigeria Union of Journalists, Nigeria Guild of Editors, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, Guild of Online Publishers have all come together, on the issue of co-regulation and to ensure that media organizations have their own ombudsman, apart from the one that these bodies will have as a general one, to ensure that they properly regulate content, they properly regulate themselves and live up to the social responsibility theory which has been placed on them.
Especially every work of man, there is imperfection. So it is sitting back, doing content analysis, looking at how, even as individual reporters, if you cover, for instance, you are a court reporter, it's incumbent on you after the day's report, by the next day, you are doing comparative analysis of how you took that report and how your colleagues took the report. And the same way all responsible organizations are expected to look at how did this day treat it, how did Daily Trust treat it, is there a place to improve?
The mass media serves information, interpretation, instructive bonding, and diversion functions. The advent of media is changing all this, but conventional media will hold on to its traditional roles. Noel.
And finally, on the international scene, government forces and allied militias in Somalia have recaptured a strategic town that the Al-Shabaab armed group had controlled for 6 years. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud said in a televised address that pro-government forces entered the town of Adanyabal in Hirshabelle, about 220 kilometers northeast of the capital Mogadishu, after the Al-Qaeda-affiliated fighters withdrew without resisting. African Union force ATMIS said Al-Shabaab had used Adanyabal as a training base. The force welcomed its return to Somali government's control. The fighters, who have been waging a bloody war against Somalia's internationally recognized federal government for 15 years, also used the town as a logistics hub. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.